Hey everybody, Economic Ninja here. I hope you're doing well. In my workshop, about to build some more cabinets and install a dishwasher. And I did a video the other day about massive changes coming to the tax system because of the 1099K. The video got very little views, and I want to go over it again because I don't think we have a lot of time left to take advantage of this tax change and how it's going to affect small, medium businesses and definitely side hustles. I'm going to be honest. My conspiracy radar has just been thrown for so many loops the last couple of presidential elections because what I witnessed from the last regime, what I believe is that the government, there are groups inside the government that are actively trying to enslave humanity. Okay, just going straight down a ledge and saying that. I believe one of the ways that they enslave us is to withhold information and knowledge. When you have knowledge, you can't have fear with knowledge because if you have enough knowledge, you know how to get around things legally, get away from things. You could see things coming ahead of time. And in the last regime, we saw a president that was hell bent on destroying the middle class by creating a system where you have a ton more IRS agents literally carrying weapons, being told you might be able to have to use deadly force. Like that's something that really hasn't been in America. And not a lot of people paid attention. Well, one of the things too was during that regime, they smashed down the ability for people to have side hustles. Now, my whole life, not only was I a full-time firefighter, but I had all kinds of side businesses. I sold electric trains that I bought in garage sales, and I built cabinets and I remodeled homes. And it created a way of me building up extra money because my job never seemed to just make it. I just made it. And I was sick and tired of just making it. So when they put this restriction on the 1099s to where, you couldn't go and buy things at a garage sale and sell them and accept money through like Zelle and Venmo and stuff like that, anything greater than $600 because it'd be recorded to the IRS, a lot of people freaked out and they just gave up on their side hustle. And I want to share with you this amazing news because of the big, beautiful bill that should show you that at least for the next few years, you should hustle and make as much money as possible on the side. So this story, and real quick, I think it's the last day of the sale, the bundle sale on the Crypto Tax Pro and the Tax Planning 101 course that I teach with a CPA. I think it's an incredible value. The link's down below for that. This is out of litter.com. It says tax bill changes, 1099 reporting thresholds. It says here the One Big Beautiful Bill Act signed into law on July 4th, 2025 makes two important changes to tax reporting. It says here requirements that should be of interest to employers. The 1099 reporting threshold has now been increased to $2,000 and indexed for inflation. Payments to non-employees for personal services must be reported on an information return commonly called a Form 1099 NEC if the payment is $600 or more in a calendar year. Similarly, payments of non-wages, such as for a settlement that includes penalties or emotional distress type damages, are reported on the Form 1099 miscellaneous in the payment if the payment is $600 or more. Sorry, I'm shaking everything. I apologize. It says beginning in 2026, however, the section 70-40-33 of the new act increases the $600 threshold to now $2,000, which will then be adjusted for inflation beginning in 2027. In addition, requirements relating to backup withholding required when the payee fails to provide a valid W-4 or Form W-9 using the taxpayer's correct taxpayer identification number will similarly be increased to $2,000 and then also be indexed for inflation beginning in 2027. Now it says here the Form 1099K, and this is really what I want to focus on. The reporting standards now reverts to the original thresholds. Now imagine a lot of you had side hustles where you were buying and selling things and you were accepting money through third-party apps like Venmo, PayPal, Zelle, things like that. And Biden crushed it. Well, now that's been removed. It's been brought back to the old standard. Here it is. Another important tax reporting change addresses third-party network reporting, which is required on a Form 1099K. When such reporting was originally enacted, there was a D- exclusion from required reporting in the total amount of such payments was less than $20,000. So if you were accepting anything less than $20,000 in a calendar year, you didn't have to report this, or these companies did not have to report this transactions, right? There was also another limitation, right? And it involved fewer than 200 transactions. Well, the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, which happened during Biden's time, eliminated the transaction requirement entirely and reduced the reporting threshold to $600. This is when a lot of people quit, and I saw it in yesterday's video. A lot of the comments were people like, I just gave up my side hustle. Why would I want to deal with all of that? You know, they were just doing it to like get by, make a little extra cash. It breaks my heart, to be honest with you. It says here, these changes originally intended to take effect in 2022. The IRS delayed implementation of these changes, most recently stating that would impose a $2,500 threshold for 2025. Well, it says here, Section 432 of the new act, however, reinstates the $20,000 and 200 transaction threshold for the required reporting, retroactive back to 2022. So it was like it never happened. So these companies are not going to be like Zelle, PayPal, and others are not going to be required to report this unless it goes over 200 transactions and over $20,000 in a calendar year in transactions, right? It says these adjustments appear to be good news for employers and businesses, and I'll add side hustles here, that regularly make such payments because they should substantially reduce their administrative burdens, particularly with respect to payments made to independent contractors. I believe this is amazing news. I think this should be a green light for a lot of people in 2026 to start a side hustle and take that side hustle and go get a separate bank account, get a business license or an LLC, and start something small without debt, with cash, and watch how it grows. I think you're going to be really impressed with that. All right, with that being said, thank you so much for watching. If you want the Crypto Tax Pro and the Tax Planning 101 course, the bundle sale, I believe it ends today. I haven't checked the timer, but I think it does. So the link's down below. You can check the timer yourself. With that being said, the Economic Ninja is out. Now I'm just going to awkwardly walk away and wait for 10 seconds of silence.